Podcasting live at the time we recorded it. From the studios in downtown Gulfport, Florida, it's WGAB, the Gabcast.
Welcome back to WGAB, the Gabcast, a Gabber newspaper production. I'm Cameron Healy, and this is...
I'm Patrick Heinzen. I'm the news and politics reporter for the Gabber, and we are here, as usual, in the Wine House in downtown Gulfport.
Today we're going to talk about a Gulfport duo and their radio show. They're hosting a radio show, and we're going to talk about the dog park and everyone's beloved pet mayor, Banjo. All right, Pat, let's get into it. What's up with this radio show?
As most people know, Gulfport is very musical.
Artistic, for sure.
Artistic, for sure. We're used to, in our office, hearing somebody playing the saxophone or...
Every Tuesday. Every Tuesday.
Don't be mean.
I'm not.
There's people who play the guitar. Outside of Sumitra, there's people who are always playing. And
there's plenty of people.
Obviously, there's a bunch of different venues. And because of that, there's a lot of local musicians. People who hang around here and go to their day job. Or maybe their day job is music. But
a lot
often,
of open mics.
Yeah. The North End Tap House is always playing. Here at the Wine House, they even will have some music sometimes.
Yeah.
And down at the brewery. So one of these musicians, his name is Mike Jones, and his wife, Pat, they are part of a duo called Creative Differences.
Yes.
And they go around the area and they play at different venues. The Tiki, they play at the Tap House, they play at the Chataway. All these different areas that people just normally play music. And one of the things that they do also is they host a radio show on Radio St. Pete every Thursday afternoon. They have the Cover Hour, and the Cover Hour kind of bridges the gap between traditional radio shows because there are a lot of radio shows where they'll do just popular music.
Yeah.
So you'll just hear original artists playing original music that is already popular, top of the charts,
Yeah, I was
and
going to
all
say
that.
things that are just being streamed.
Or there's radio shows where they'll play local artists playing original music.
Yeah.
What they do with the Cover Hour is they have local artists playing popular music.
Okay.
So it's a way to kind of make sure people are familiar with what they're hearing, but also introduce people to new artists and local artists. So both Mike and Pat being their own artists,
musicians.
they focus on Americana music. So that's everything from the 19th century to today, and it's bluegrass, blues, jazz, rock, country, anything that you can think of that's classic American music.
Nice.
They play, and that's what their focus of the radio show, but they're not really genre specific.
Okay.
They'll play local artists of all kinds. And they're very passionate about this just based on the idea of like an original artist got their inspiration from somewhere.
Yeah, right.
So if you hear the covers that somebody is playing, you'll get an idea of who they are as an artist.
I was going to say, do they kind of give it their own spin, like Mike and Pat, when they're playing these songs as like covers? Is that their like spin on that song?
Well, it's not all their
you're talking
music.
about just somebody writing music in general from scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like somebody who writes music.
Yes.
The songs they cover demonstrate their inspiration in their original art. And that's very interesting. And Mike and Jones don't normally play their own music on the radio, I believe.
Cool.
But I think they have. I mean, I'm sure I would.
Yeah. I would.
But they are looking for submissions. They ask people, you can go to the Radio St. Pete website and go to the Contact Us tab. And you can reach out and send in a broadcast quality MP3. And they'll play it. They'll be happy to play it. They're always looking for new songs to add to the catalog of Radio St. Pete. And it's really interesting to see how passionate people can be because you listen to one of your favorite songs, and it's not something you wrote, obviously, and you're connected with that song and the person who wrote it.
Yeah.
But when you hear somebody else play that, it brings you back in a different way.
Yeah,
because it makes you think
form.
of those memories without thinking of the song as a whole.
It's cool to hear songs like in that cover version.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. It gives it a different light.
It's
I
always
think.
one of my favorite things to see, like, some of my favorite artists will do, like, the Spotify studio sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Where they'll do,
those
like,
ones are
one of their
so
most
good.
popular songs, and then they'll always do a cover.
Mm-hmm.
And those covers can be, like, obviously that's a little different because it's, like, an artist I already like.
Yeah.
But it's an artist showing one of their songs that they like to play. And I grew up a musician. My dad and I, we would play shows together a couple times, and we would come together with songs that we both liked, and we would cover those together, and then we would show each other songs that we liked and cover those together, and it expanded both of our music knowledge and our love for music, because I'm not a big fan of, or I wasn't a big fan of the Grateful Dead, and my dad wasn't a big fan of Arctic Monkeys, but when we covered a song by the Grateful Dead together, an Arctic Monkeys song together, it kind of bridges that gap.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think one of the things that Mike really stressed was how there's so much good music that's already been written.
Yeah.
And there's so much good music still left to write, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that good music that's already been written needs to stay around.
Yeah.
Because it's inspiring people for a reason, and you can trace your favorite artists today, you can trace their inspirations all the way back to the beginning of music.
Yeah.
Like when musicians first started becoming a figure.
Yeah.
And all the way back to classical music or something. You can follow this person was inspired by this, and then this person was inspired by them, and it goes all the way back until today.
Yeah, you can definitely see that with like people making samples in songs too.
Yeah,
it's just like you hear it in the background, you wait, oh, that's from that song. Like they're using that.
And you think about how they grew up hearing that in their house.
Yeah.
And their parents grew up hearing that, and their parents grew up hearing the person that inspired that person to make that. So
Isn't it cool when you
going.
listen to a song and it like puts you back in time and you're like, oh, I remember when I listened to this when I was like this old.
Exactly.
Or like, reminds me of that one Foo Fighters song that I was like, oh, is it Learn to Fly? That was like, or what was it?
The one with the weird music video?
Yeah.
Everlong?
Everlong. That music video made me really uncomfortable as a kid. Every time I listen to the song, I'm like, ooh, this reminds me of watching it on VH1 or like some music video channel.
Well, we were just talking about, because we sat down in the wine house and they were playing Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and you were like,
when I was younger,
I used to tell my dad to put on this song so I could dance.
Yeah, I'd be like, Dad, play that song where he's like, jealousy. Like I would do that, and I'd dance for my family, just like, wah, 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 wah. And that's
but it's
how it
also
go.
like you hear songs that you don't even realize are like we were singing earlier, "Close to You" by Frank Ocean, and that's an interpolation of, I don't think it's called "Close to You." It's by it's the Carpenters. I don't think it's called "Close to You," but it's like, "Why do birds suddenly appear?"
Oh, so it's the same
time?
tune.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's something like that,
cool.
and it brings you back to that,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting to think of how like a cover can be so simple as the same guitar riff, or the same song entirely.
I'd be really interested in hearing their covers of songs too, of just...
And artists do a really cool job with like putting their own spin on it.
Yeah.
This is, for most of our audience, this is not, you're not going to get it, but you know how Lil Uzi Vert released on his most recent album, he released a cover of Chop Suey by System of a Down. It's a weird thing.
Wait, really?
But he released a cover of Chop Suey, and it's like two very different artists, but like he loves the song, so he put his spin on it.
Right.
It's cool. This stuff is really, really cool. And as somebody who plays music, I'm always looking for like a song I like. I'll sit down and I'll figure out the chords to it.
Yeah.
But I'll play it differently than the recording because I'm playing it how I want to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like a different
sound.
strumming pattern, or faster, slower, different melody or rhythm. It's like it's still the same lyrics and it's still the same song technically, but you're doing it a little differently.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exciting and fun for them. I'm excited to hear more about their performances in general.
Yeah, and I don't know if anything really, like you said, artistic. I don't know if anything really screams Gulfport more than music.
Maybe animals, pets, perhaps. Have you walked down a street and seen somebody in have a stroller, and you look inside and it's not a baby?
Well, have you seen the dude who has a motorcycle with the chihuahua up front?
No.
He puts his Chihuahua on the motorcycle
That
with
is
a little helmet and
amazing.
goggles.
That's amazing.
They love their dogs here.
People love dogs.
And we love your dogs too.
In Gulfport, for sure.
It's our favorite thing.
So did you guys know that today, May 21st, which for us it's today, they just reopened the large dog park in Chase Park.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys didn't know, there are 2 dog parks, a small one and a large one, depending on the size, right in Gulfport, depending on the size.
Small one or large one, depending on the size. Yeah.
Yeah? It's not like just a smaller park. That's what I'm going for.
I know.
Sorry, guys. That was confusing. It's not like this really big open field that we're calling a large park for dogs. No, it's for the size. It's for the size.
Yeah, the size of the dog.
Matters.
Yep. No.
Back to the scheduled program. Today, they announced that the dog park reopened after being closed for renovations since like the beginning of April at least. So, Pat, they were talking about the dog park at an April city council meeting, right?
Yeah, it was about a month ago that they but they talked about it, and the city, they recognized the issue. I mean, when you have a bunch of big dogs going there every day,
Yeah.
grass gets ripped up like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's done.
They are digging.
So they said, well, it's incredibly expensive to resod it. So
Like
they only do it,
all
I think
time,
they
yeah.
said once a year, maybe twice a year. I
Yeah.
can't remember. It's really expensive to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were trying to look up options to figure out how to not need to do that.
Yeah.
And they talked about a lot of things. But one of the things that they really focused on was decomposed granite.
Okay.
So you think about granite as like countertops and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But a lot of local dog parks, I believe St. Pete Beach, they have decomposed granite already, and it's clean.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it doesn't get ripped up.
Yep.
It's safe for dogs to
Yeah.
like walk on because it can. Obviously, you're thinking like they're walking on sharp
Pavement
rocks
or
and
so-
stuff
or
like that.
yeah,
Like that
okay.
sucks. And it's environmentally safe, and it's relatively cheap. I believe they did 3/4 of the dog park and resodded the other quarter for just under $12,000.
Nice.
So Tom Nichols, the public works director, he was kind of spearheading this and talking about, well, these are our options. Here's the cost.
Yeah.
Him and his department have been really working hard to make sure that they get the best possible option. And they decided on decomposed granite.
Nice.
So after they put it in, they reopened.
Nice.
And where are we at with that today, Cam?
Yeah, so they did have some comments. They posted this on Facebook. That's how I found out about it, was that they posted on Facebook, hey guys, we're opening back up again. And a lot of people in the comments were excited, but there were a good few that were confused on what this meant. Some people felt like the large dogs were not getting the best treatment compared to the small dog park. Like they were like, where's all the grass that they're going to be able to roll around in and sniff and have fun? No, guys, it's okay. They still have grass. There's still grass there. It's just...
And even so, the decomposed granite is not just like we would be like walking on the sand or something.
Yeah.
It is made for this purpose.
Yeah.
It's safe for them to play in. They're going to enjoy it. And
Yeah.
it's still the dog park. They're still going to have an exercise area and a play area, a place where you can take them for a nice morning. And
Yeah.
it's still going to be fun.
Yeah. And there's still trees and such, so if they want to like sit in the shade, they can. And
Yeah,
they
this
can-
doesn't ruin the dog park.
No, I
Still
swear.
take
that
your dog to the dog
It
park.
looks great, guys. It really does. Both of them, they look great. And
It'll be a lot better than mud and holes and
Oh my
no
God,
grass
absolutely.
and all of that.
absolutely, like you would hate if you had to bring your dog to the dog park, then they get all dirty and then get in your car. Ruin your car. Come on now. I'm just saying, guys. It's okay. So, they have that reopening now, and everything is grand in Gulfport.
Well, Speaking of dogs, I heard that our own civil protector,
Oh.
Banjo here, has been putting in some work on the streets.
Oh yeah.
Keeping Gulfport safe.
Yes. He keeps Gulfport.
Take notes, Mayor Henderson. I'm kidding. You're
No.
great. You're great. I'm kidding.
He does just as well as Mayor Henderson. He is heroic. He is courageous. Oh, I'm talking about Banjo. And okay,
For those of you who don't know who Banjo is,
Banjo is Gulfport's 2024 pet mayor. He is actually he was titled that back in February by Gulfport Arts and Heritage. They do a fundraiser every year that raises money for the organization and one St. Pete animal rescue, which ended up this year being Friends of Strays. And Banjo was the nominated winner. He won. He raised over like
$1,500.
yeah,
I think it was 1507 or
something like that. Yeah, he came in first, guys. Everybody voted for him. He is actually our first pet mayor with a physical disability.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys haven't seen him around, he is a 9-year-old paralyzed rescue who has a wheelchair, just his back 2 legs. So he's got these big wheelies and he's just walking around town. And he loves to sniff out everywhere in Gulfport. His family actually reported back to us the amount of times he has done his little Paw Patrol routine. It says Banjo thoroughly sniffed 4,427 Gulfport spots as part of his routine checkup. But even one of these times when he was on patrol, he encountered a coyote. I don't think that was the sound I was thinking. Yes. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So, Banjo, being his courageous, heroic self, he saw, as he was walking around doing his little sniffing, he sees this thing walk across the street. He's not really sure what it is, but it makes his hairs stand up on the back of his neck. He's walking across 31st Ave in Clinton Street with his owner, Ed. And as soon as he notices this being cross the street, he starts going. He is growling, he's barking, and Ed has him on the leash. This dog starts sprinting down the road, just going at this coyote. The coyote gets scared. I would be scared too. If I'm seeing these big wheels come at me, big, large barks, I would be running. So the coyote starts going. He's like, I gotta get out of here. Every couple of apparently about 20 yards or so, Ed said he would turn around to check if Banjo's still good. Yeah, the coyote. Yeah. Trying to check if Banjo's still on his tail. Mm-hmm. He is one lucky coyote that Banjo did not get him.
Didn't Ed say that he thinks that coyote's not coming back to Gulfport?
Oh, absolutely not.
I wouldn't.
No, because he is a danger. He's a potential threat to society in Gulfport. And Banjo is here to save the day, per usual. This is why people voted for him. I don't even think people understand how much he put on the line. Are you really going to yawn over a hero, a town hero? Put some respect on Banjo's name. What is your... That is outrageous. I'm so sorry, Banjo.
We love you, Banjo.
He does not reflect my emotions and feelings towards you. I think you are amazing. You are inspirational. And you make me a better person every day.
Banjo, you make me appreciate the city that we don't live in, but we come here for work.
We work here, but we both live in St. Pete. It's really expensive here. So
it's really expensive in St. Pete.
Yeah, but I found a place, so I'm fine. I
did not.
Anyways, Banjo, thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Banjo. We appreciate
detecting any harm to the city and making sure downtown Gulfport is up to code and safe for everybody to enjoy. And
if you see Banjo around, thank him for his
I would be saluting
valiant service to our city.
Thank you, Banjo.
Thank you, Banjo. And thank you to all of you for listening to this week's Gabcast. WGAB, a Gabber newspaper production. This is Cam. I'm Patrick, and we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully with Kathy back.
Kathy!
Kathy with a cop next week?
Dude, that'd be kind of crazy. Kathy with a cop, maybe?
You guys were spared from Patrick with the police, so.
Yeah. No.
We could have done Cam with a cop.
I don't know if it hits the same as Kathy with the cop. Woo! Yeah. So, see you guys next week. Bye!